Good morning. We are deep in the Scorpio full moon energies. I'm Dae. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about these astrological events and see how we can use them to our best ability to really move forward in our lives, to feel like we work with the planets rather than they are dictating the flow of our lives. We are all connected. And do not underestimate how these big planetary influences can impact our lives. Let's pull a card from the Sacred Traveler Oracle. Desert Passage, trust there's a divine plan. And Breaking Trail, a breakthrough is at hand. On the bottom of the deck, we have Protected by Angels. This is the exact theme of this full moon right now. So we have a Scorpio full moon. A few days ago, we had the conjunction of the planet Jupiter and Uranus in the sign of Taurus. What we are seeing here is how what has been built on this earth is a symptom of the greater trauma that we hold collectively, that we hold generationally, and how when we don't work with that, when we don't acknowledge it and heal it, it just perpetuates itself and it continues to go on for centuries, for millennia. What we are seeing now is that there is a great evolutionary change coming, but it is our choice if we are going to evolve or if we are going to stay in the old patterns. If we continue to act from our ego, then we will continue to experience what we have been experiencing, and it's just going to create a perpetual cycle. So the way out of this cycle is to do things differently, is to play the game differently. And what this all comes down to is our emotional intelligence, because if you look around in this world, I think we can all agree that most of the issues arise because of people's lack of emotional intelligence. Because this world has really built itself and designed itself to sustain those who step on others to get ahead. But the problem about that is that every time that you act in a way that is against your inner integrity, that is against your emotional intelligence, this shadow gets built up. This shadow of ourselves, which is not just unconscious, unhealthy tendencies. It also is all the parts of ourselves that we decided to shun in order to fit into a greater whole, in order to be accepted. So basically, every time we push off a part of ourselves, whether it's, I don't want to feel that right now, so I'm going to numb it and I'm going to put it a mile away, or I really, really desire this, but I have no idea how it can happen based on my experiences of what I've seen. So I'm going to shut down that urge completely. Every time we do that, we put a cap on our life force. We shut down our vitality in order to numb out and live in this existence. I mean, look around me. This is a beautiful world full of life. We've figured out how to, power everything But we also have to understand what are the effects of everything that I do and everything that I create. We cannot expect that doing one thing will not have an effect on many others. A small little example of just a random article I read this morning about the US planning to ban all healthy light in the upcoming years. So our light bulbs, I understand wanting to be energy efficient. Believe me, I do. But you cannot place energy efficiency over our actual health. So deciding to only have light bulbs that have these very, very unhealthy light waves, you can see that this is causing problems for people. You can see that, like, living in an office underneath fluorescent lights and never getting any daylight affects people. So really what we are seeing now with this Scorpio full moon illuminating all of the shadow, we've just had the Uranus and Jupiter conjunction, the planets of surprise, change, expansion, faith, believing in something bigger than what you see. In the sign of Taurus, the sister sign of Scorpio, the sign of Taurus, the earth, the physical reality, our stability on this plane, on this planet. It's going to illuminate really just how messed up everything is, because we can't move forward and fix what's wrong and heal what's broken unless we first acknowledge that. That is the great lesson of these energies and how they work together, of this Scorpio full moon. And trust me, as someone who has a Scorpio moon, you've got to deal with the energy. You've got to deal with the depths of the energy. You've got to acknowledge what is actually happening. And that might make people around you uncomfortable, but it is not your job to make other people comfortable. It's our desires, it's our inner experience that wants to be shown, that wants to be brought forth. But this happens from authenticity. And you know, that word authenticity, it gets thrown around a lot, but it takes a whole lot of courage to be authentic. It takes a whole lot of courage to turn down things that make you feel shitty, even when you think that you can't. So there is a big lesson to be had here. You can see everybody's been talking about this astrological time. It's a choice point. It really is. The thing is what we put out is what we will receive. And things are changing. Things are changing at a rapid pace. It's about our integrity. It's about seeing what truly has been so that we can heal and finally move forward. The eclipse season that we had over the last month was in the sign of Aries and Libra, the North Node in Aries, the South Node in Libra. We also have Chiron, which is an asteroid that's all about our healing. Our greatest torment is also our greatest healing, because that's what we are able to teach. We're able to teach how to walk through the fire and come out of that path alive. So a big theme that has been coming up is our own individual reality, how we create that, how we sustain it, and how we can interact with others without losing ourselves. We don't all need to have the same perceptions, the same beliefs, because we don't have the same experiences. There's no way that you or I could look through each other's eyes and fully comprehend what it is the other is experiencing. But it's in the allowance of all of the possibilities to be here. That's what this Age of Aquarius can be when we're working with the light instead of the shadow. Every possibility. Let's allow the connection. Let's allow the growth, the cosmic growth to be experienced. But the biggest thing that we all have in common is that we have learned how to identify ourselves based upon what we've been given in childhood, growing up, in society. Where did you abandon yourself for others? Where did you abandon yourself to please others? Because it was just too painful to stay in what you were truly feeling in that moment and acknowledge what was actually going on. So where did we gaslight ourselves into maybe that, these connections were healthy, that these people were right for us? We can open ourselves up, we can open our hearts and have much more authentic and heart-centered connections with people. And that also comes with acknowledging when we are not comfortable with people, and we don't have to be, okay? If you don't feel comfortable with somebody, then you don't have to spend time with them. If you feel like you need to use some sort of substance to even be around certain people, then maybe that's a signal of change that needs to come, because it's about our true authenticity and how we feel really good in our own skin. And when we don't, it's usually coming from some place that we have not been able to accept within us. And sometimes that happens from this experience of, creating an identity that other people will accept. Especially, if you are neurodivergent, if you have ADHD or autism, masking, creating this identity so that you can fit in. If you really look at it, being neurodivergent in this society was traumatic, is traumatic for people. So the coping mechanisms that have occurred are really just symptoms of a much greater malignancy. And we can see that the root of all hurt, trauma, pain, disease comes from this society that has been created. These expectations that have gone through generations, embedding themselves in the pain that we all feel. when we allow ourselves to really acknowledge that pain, that pain is there, that is the true gift of this release, of this Scorpio full moon. Your manifestations are coming in. The next moon cycle is the Taurus new moon, which is so perfect for getting clear really on what you want. So we have this great opportunity to utilize the Scorpio full moon to release the pain that we don't need to carry any longer, because that baggage is just going to hold you back from what you really want. This is why it's so powerful to work with the moon, to work with the astrological energies, because they give you what you need to work with in perfect timing. We don't need to dictate when things happen. It's all happening perfectly for us. Feel your feelings. It's a fucking superpower. Well, thank you so much for listening to my Scorpio full moon TED Talk. All right. Some journal prompts. Really just allow yourself to sit with your true feelings. Acknowledge where you didn't feel comfortable. Acknowledge how relationships did not fulfill you, how experiences did not fulfill you, so that you can finally move forward and really accept what it is you want rather than numbing out. If you're interested in a personal reading, you can click the link below, email me if you have any questions. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.